Hi, my name's Raymond Mancy. I'm an urban beekeeper. I run a little beekeeping operation called the Beeyard. I got into beekeeping several years ago now. I first got into gardening and I thought bees would go good with my new garden, and so I got some native stingless bees. We rescued them from a fallen log, put them in the new hive, and a few days later they decided that they didn't like the new hive, so they left. So I was stuck looking for some bees, and there was a guy down the road who was selling some honeybees, and that's how I got into beekeeping. One thing I love about beekeeping is just the intricacies of their societies, how they function as a superorganism. That's really fascinating to me. I also love just sitting there and watching them. Sitting at the hive entrance, you can see their comings and goings, how they behave, and also the fact that they just produce so much honey from the nectar that's just sitting in flowers all around us. Urban environments are fantastic for bees. The majority of Australian honey is from native forests, and that honey's great, but when you've got bees in an urban environment, you get a diverse mix of flowers and pollen, and you also get things flowering at different times of the year, and thus the flavour that you get from the honey is completely different to anything that you'll get out of a native forest. One of the things I've learned with beekeeping is that you have to respect the time and process associated with nature. If the weather doesn't permit, or if the particular season doesn't permit, the bees aren't going to bring in the honey. The bee populations will go up and down with the seasons, and you can't control that to any great degree. You just kind of have to let them do what they're going to do and work with that. You can't control them by any great degree. I think the fear of bees is much worse than the reality. They don't sting anywhere near as much as what people think they do. You still need to be very conscious. I wouldn't encourage people to be reckless around them. You can be opening up hives, looking through them. Sometimes they won't even notice you're there. They're not going to bother you or your neighbours anywhere near as much as what you think they might. If you want to get into urban beekeeping, I find a few people who say that they would really like to, but they go, oh, I don't have a lot of room. Some backyards are better than others, but the bees will fly to where there are flowers. You don't need a lot of room yourself actually to host them. Don't be afraid. I mean, you're going to make mistakes just like you do with anything that you're trying out. Just jump in. You won't regret it.